Hello, hello, audio. I can see some audio happening. I started the stream and then I forgot to get a cup of coffee, so I went and fixed that. Hi, hello, Ghost Bodefeld Orb. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, back doing the thing again. As usual. Not always, but as usual. Relatively usual. How y'all doing today? I don't think anything particularly horrible has happened in the past day or two. At least not in my circles, so that's good and unusual. Welcome to 2026. Relatively chill stream today. I have a couple of things I need to get done, but other than that, I'm not shooting a tutorial. I'm not doing anything, you know. It's not everything I'm doing now today on stream is relatively easy and straightforward, so all good. I gotta keep an eye on things because my spouse is working at the office today, so it's just me here. I have to keep an eye on cats and make sure that, like, we are going to be doing a bunch of gluing today, so I'm gonna have to seal the chamber at some point and make sure there's no cats in here. Usually my spouse helps me with the cat herding during these moments, but you know, I'm flying solo today, so. Hey, Joe, nice to see you. Good to see that the YouTube chat's working. Always the problem. Well, look, we got Ghost of Bodefeld and Owncast. We got Twitch. And we got YouTube. Yeah, the Danger Honey School. So here's the fun part. This particular tin of Danger Honey is, as you might be able to tell from the bad lighting, it's really well loved, and it's almost out. And I had ordered another tin at great expense, I may add, because I have to import this stuff now. Guess what? Importing stuff from the US is really expensive. Shocking, I know, in these times. But it was taking a long time to get here. It just, you know, shipping is a mess these days in general. So I'm like, I am almost out and I have a lot of stuff to do. This is a problem. So Thankfully, we have the new tin did in fact show up just the other day. So I'm with the remnants of this one, and then this brand new one. You can tell. Let's go to the top cam. You can actually, what are we gonna see? A lot of blue fur, yeah. So there's the difference between a new tin of danger honey and a well-used tin of danger honey. So yeah, I got the new one standing by just in case we need it. I don't think we'll need it today. I'll probably be able to get enough, but I'm having to use like an external brush just to be able to get into the bottom of the tin. But let me tell you, this stuff is more expensive than printer ink at the moment. So it was $80, $80 for this. Yeah. Anyway, everything's more expensive, right? Except AI. Anyway, let's not get onto that already. Where are we at here? 10:04. We're just gonna chill for a little while. Do we need age verification to participate in the stream? Not yet. And hopefully not ever. Did my mic clip? I think my mic may have clipped. My apologies. I heard this was becoming common on the web. Yeah, the whole Discord thing, let me tell you. It is becoming far too common. And I mean, it is a multi-layered issue. It is one of those sort of Trojan horse things where a lot of nasty stuff is being snuck in under the guise of protecting children, and anybody who's even passively familiar with a privacy situation and all of that stuff is sounding the alarm bells because it's bad. Currently trying to experiment with modeling a pulley system for a blinking Mac. Ooh. And had to turn to a friend for help since he's better at it. Yeah, mechs are tough. Mechs are always tough. Imagine if Mastodon server you would introduce age verification. Would you trust him in a minute? No. I mean, the Mastodon server I'm actually on right now is part of the tech pod. It's the official Brad and Will made a tech pod instance, and at some point, like, that's probably going away, so I have to find like another instance to join, which thankfully is a thing you can do on the Fediverse. But I had debated just migrating everything to GoToSocial and hosting my own. I've tried to host my own Mastodon server, and it is just a little bit more than I'm willing to do. There's a lot of moving parts to that. So I would rather find an external, reliable server. But that is TBD. So yeah, Joe, the whole mech thing. This is among the reasons I don't do a lot of mechs is because they're tricky and frequently need maintenance. So not a thing I generally do because I'm mostly selling to the general public. And also to people who aren't in a position to do a lot of maintenance stuff, so they may need the puppet for, whatever, their YouTube channel or something, but they're not really thinking that this thing is going to need repairs at some point, right? Nobody really thinks that when they first buy a puppet, so it's the thing I try to cut down on the need for. But we should probably get on with things. Like I said, I don't have a lot to do today. It's all relatively light. I am almost finished the big build here that I'm working on. So let's go to the wide cam. Is probably the best one for this one. And I'll show you the past week and a half. This is a dog. We got a big blue dog. This is Scribbles. This is for a YouTube channel. This is a client commission. And Scribbles is nearly done, as you can see. Scribbles is looking pretty good. I just stitched the ears on yesterday. And yeah, Scribbles is all right. I'm quite pleased with how Scribbles has come out. Yeah, very cute. So as you can see, it is a live hands. But the other thing you can see is that Scribbles needs one more thing. Scribbles needs to put on some weight. So that is what we are doing today. That's the main bulk of the whole thing that I'm doing today. Is we're making a body insert to just put in there and flesh out the body. Very, very simple. I've done it lots of times. I think on stream even. So that's the main part of what we're doing today. We're just going to finish scribbles. I give it a glorified sock puppet for Christmas presents, and also offer insurance in case anything happens. Yeah, well, that's it. I even like every puppet that I sell, I put like a care sheet in the box, and among the things it mentions is, look, no matter what, eventually, to a greater or lesser degree, or at a greater or lesser amount of time, all puppets will eventually need some kind of repair work. Like, it's just by the virtue of them being a physical object made of soft materials that's constantly under stresses. All right, it means eventually something's going to wear, something's going to break, stitches pop. Like, it's the way things go. And what people don't usually understand is, like, on a professional set like the Muppets, for example. No, I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to before tomorrow. I have to, because we're recording a podcast tomorrow, and I have in the show notes to talk about it. So I need to like watch it before tomorrow night. So there. Just to get in front of that before you ask. I haven't watched it yet. I don't watch anything. It's not me trying to avoid it. It's not in my routine of what I do every day. I don't sit down and watch anything. So that's just not part of my, it's not in my brain space to start with. I either play a game or I work. That's what I do. Or housework, the usuals. Anyway, where was I? Care sheet, puppets, repairs, wranglers. That's where I was going with this. Yeah, on a set, in a professional context, they will always have at least one, sometimes it's also the performer is doing this as well, but somebody who is a puppet wrangler, who is literally there with a repair kit ready to fix things when they break, because it happens frequently. So that's one thing I try to prepare people for, is just beware that this is going to happen. So like I said before on an old stream, every puppet is basically a ticking time bomb, right? Like, it's just eventually something's going to happen. I've been relatively lucky. I think Frankie's only needed one repair. The Oracle's never needed a repair, although I suspect at some point soon he may. I think his teeth are probably getting a bit loose. So, hey, happens to us all. It's just age, right? Okay, so the first thing we're doing is the body insert. I suspect that will not take the majority of the time. So there is a second thing I have planned, and you may, if you were here last week, where's the front? I don't know, where did I designate front? That looks like the front. You may remember this from last week. This is the legally distinct celebrity amphibian body that we made last week, or that we did for the draping tutorial last week. As you can see, it is more or less done, but what I need to do is finish it. I need to take the fabric that's all kind of loose and scraggly on the top here, and I'm going to glue it on the inside like that, just around the boning, just to finish it, so then I can like stitch on the sleeve and the neck and all that kind of stuff. So that's the second part. It's all gluing is the thing. So there's going to be a lot of me in the mask. So, that's why I'm stalling. Because that's an unpleasant process. I don't like wearing the mask, but you got to do it. Safety first. First thing I'm going to do, speaking of safety, Dave Goltz once mentioned during a few Gonzer's iMech broke and one of his eyelids stuck. They made it so his eyelids move individually on the next rebuild. I do remember I saw that interview. And then he realized, like, because, it's Gonzo, right? So when one eye wide open, the other eye closed, or, just normal, looked fantastic. It suited the character perfectly. So that's why the next time he went, let's just do that. Let's just make that part of the kit, right? So that's brilliant. That's exactly the kind of accidents that happen. And then you go, oh, let's go with that. So it's awesome. First thing I'm going to do is take a hairdryer to the lid of this, because I know for a fact this is like cemented shut. So I'm not opening it yet. I'm just warming it up so the lid can be opened. All right, so we'll let that cook for a second, and I'm pretty much ready to go here. I should move the dog off the table because I need the space. Let's go to, I guess we'll go to the overhead cam. I should get set up here. Or Bob Ross called them happy accidents, exactly. I've got my Bob Ross sweater over there in case I need it, because we're going to have to open the window. It's not too cold today, thankfully. The huge cold snap is over. Demon Dreamer, nice to see you. It is currently -6 Celsius. No, don't know what that is in American. It's just below freezing. So it's actually a balmy day for winter in Canada. So, you know, it's pretty good. I am wearing a long sleeve shirt, so I shouldn't need the sweater, but it's over there in case I do. And that's my like Bob Ross / like Mr. Rogers type sweater. It's a very old man sweater, but it is also very warm and comfy, and it is cashmere. So, ooh la la. First thing I'm going to do is seal the chamber, so no cat gets in. Now I'm going to go over and open the window and get the fan going, because we're going to need that ventilation. At least I can open the window now. It was frozen shut for a while. All right, the fan is in the window and going. Background music is a bit too loud. Thank you for letting me know. I wasn't futzing with that stuff beforehand, but that thankfully is easy to turn down. Let me know if that's good. I can do more or less. I think also, yeah, these musical tracks aren't leveled, so they aren't normalized. Who is these days? It's a joke in there somewhere. No problem. Audio is always a problem, as you know. So any feedback is appreciated, and I will do my best to fix it. I gotta move the dog. I'm going to drink some more coffee before I'm moving a big furry thing around, because let me tell you, having an open drink like this and or chewing gum when you're working with fur, bad idea. And I always forget that I shouldn't do that. So I always do, and I always regret it. So I'm drinking my coffee before it gets full of fur. All right, I'm gonna move the dog. Where am I gonna move the dog to? There isn't a whole lot of room. Dog is not small. I mean, it's a live hands, right? So dog is dog-sized. All right, Scribbles, why don't you go on the floor just over here in front of my closet? Guard the closet. Okay, here we go. Nice clean work surface. So here's the pattern. This is a very, very basic pattern, as you can see. So this is this is a standard body insert that I use for almost every Alive Hands puppet. This is what's in Frankie as well. Big blue dog instead of bear. You know, it's true. There's either a big red dog or a big blue bear. Here's a big blue dog. But this is basically a teardrop-shaped body insert, such as you may find in a legally distinct celebrity amphibian. This will more or less make this shape, but it's not quite as refined. This shape is made with, I don't currently have another one built, with 8 different panels that are kind of teardrop shaped. The more panels that you do, the smoother the curve is going to be, and that's why this is all nice and, you know, the curvature is very, very smooth. For going underneath fur, you don't need that level of precision. You're never going to see it. You just need something that's going to fill it out. So that's why I do the sort of this instead of doing, like, you can see where this would just be separate pieces, right? But you can just join them together and use darts, and that way you can do it in 2 pieces instead of 8, or in this case 6. Again, the number of panels that you do, the smaller number of panels that you do, you can do a smoother gradient for the curve. So But we don't need quite that level of futziness. It's okay if this is a bit crude because you're never going to see it. It's going underneath fur. Fur is very forgiving and fur hides many sins. So let's commit some sins, shall we? So yeah, we're just doing it in 2 pieces. And then we're going to put some boning. And then we will glue it all together. Actually, we'll glue it all together and then put the boning in because that's the correct order. I'm going to use half-inch foam for this. You can use inch as well, particularly with something this large. Like as you can see, this is going inside a live hand. So this is not small. This is not like, you know, frog sized, as it were. This is a bit bigger than that. This is, say, Fozzie sized. So you can go, like, if you can get 3/4, that would be great, but inch thick as well works for this. Half-inch will be just fine, provided that you put boning in it. If you don't put boning in it, it's not going to have enough strength to sort of hold its shape. But the boning will take care of that. So the first thing we got to do is actually trace 2 of these out and get them cut out. So let's do that. Just fold it up so I can put it inside an envelope. But we got some foam here, so this is half-inch foam. And we'll just put this out here. There's again, I'm working like I'm on the space station. It's just like there's no room. I gotta try and like fold stuff around and do what I can when I can. Here we go. I need a Sharpie. The sharper, the better. Here we go. Hopefully the Sharpie's got some ink in it. Yes, okay. So we're just going to trace out 2 of these. Try to waste as little foam as possible. This stuff is not free. I gotta be so conscious these days of just every little cost. Trying desperately not to raise my prices, but it's getting harder and harder because the price of everything to make them is going up, so. Of course, there comes a point at which I will just price myself out of the market, which is stupid. I use a shrunken version of a body pattern like that to create the Popeye arm for a goblin puppet I made. Very good. Yeah, well, again, it's just basic shapes, right? Now, you don't have to put it going in this direction. You can put it in a different direction and make a tube, like a bulgy tube. It really helps if you think of things as if you're breaking them down to simple shapes, right? So we need 2 of these. This is uniform, so you don't have to like mirror the pattern. Well, I mean uniform. It's as uniform as I can make it. Which, spoilers, isn't very uniform, but it won't matter. So try and be as precise as you can. I really should use pattern weights, but again, for something like this, just make sure it doesn't move as you're tracing it. If it does move, I'm trying always to think of like what are good tips for like newcomers, right? So let's say you're tracing a pattern like this and you accidentally move it, right? You can reposition and try and get back the registration, as it were, but it's always going to be a little off. So I mean, the best, hello Dylan, nice to see you. The best advice is to just try and have it so it doesn't move, but if it does, yes, you can put it back, but it will probably be a little off just because soft materials stretch, compress, etc. So now that we've got these 2, I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to cut out just like the big chunk of this because I got a big sheet of foam here that is clunky and awkward. So I'm just going to take some junk shears and cut this out before we get down to the precision cutting. I'll just kind of free this from the bulk of the foam. You can, like if I wanted to, I'm going to cut this with a razor blade, but you could cut this with shears. Again, because this is going under fur, you don't need to worry about precision very much. So I'll put the, actually I'm going to put the foam back in the corner here. Let's get it out of the way. Oh, okay. So now we grab our exceptionally sharp and dangerous razor blade and we start cutting this out. Speaking of razor blade, where is my razor blade? Oh, there it is. Probably good to keep track of that kind of thing. Let's see, here's the one that's open. I know for a fact that's dull. I always put a dull one back. I don't know why I don't just get rid of it immediately, but you can always get one more cut out of it. And again, I'm trying to economize as much as possible, so. And since this doesn't need to be super clean or precise, we're not going to stress about it. Just going to get it cut out and do the thing. And as usual, when you're cutting with a razor blade, be very, very, very careful. And always try and angle it so the blade is straight up and down, so you're not beveling by accident. Easier said than done, but it's still worth saying. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out the bulk, and then we'll cut the darts out. The guy from Ontario has to remember that that word does have a vowel in it. So inclined to say darts instead of darts. Did you know that everybody has an accent, including you? It's true. Okay. That. This may be a short stream. I don't know how long. This is probably not going to take very long at all. So just FYI. Still wanted to get her done. This means 2 weeks in a row for a change. I was debating not doing it today, but I like hanging out with y'all, as you know. So now we will cut out the darts with an A. And then we're gonna have to suit up because it's danger honey time. There is a top and bottom to this pattern, FYI. You can see, if you look at this as an individual piece, you can see how it kind of bulges more towards the bottom. That is what creates the teardrop shape. So just be aware of that. Don't accidentally flip it and glue a top to a bottom and a bottom to a top. I don't have an accent. You guys do. You know, it's those guys over there, they talk funny. The few accents I can actually do. You know, like, it figures that two of my characters, one sounds like he talks, you know, like he's from Manhattan, and the other one talks like he's from New Orleans, and it's because those are the two accents I can do. Okay. to... it's time to suit up, I fear. So let me grab some gloves, of course. We always need the gloves. Cutting foam has something satisfying. It's true. It is very, well, it depends. It's very satisfying as long as your blade is sharp enough, because it just kind of glides through, and it is very, very satisfying. If it's not sharp enough and it kind of pulls and tugs at the fabric of the foam, it can be frustrating. A sharp blade is always your best friend in several different contexts. I mean, my name, after all, is Kevin Blades. I'm not quite sure how sharp I am, but I mean, your accents could be like mine, American Hillbilly Idiot Savant. You know, hey, that's a great accent. There's no such thing as a bad accent. This is the thing. It's like all accents are neat. I just love language in general, so it's like everything is fascinating when you look at it closely enough. There's a fantastic, I can't remember where I saw it. There was a fantastic essay that sort of explores the history of why, like, a lot of Appalachia, for example, has, you know, particular accents. And it really does go back to, like, British accents are kind of the origin of it, and it's fascinating to watch the kind of evolution of it. It's neat. Language is neat. All language is neat. If you're not a complete bigot, you know. Anyway. If you are a complete bigot, then only one language is neat. It's whatever one you speak, right? What am I doing? I am getting the mask. Oh boy, here we go. It's time. I am going to take another drink of coffee. Also, hi, Indy. All right, coffee is done. We are not in danger. I am also going to... Maybe I'll be okay. I'm going to mute the mic while I turn on this mic. One moment. One, two, test 1, 2. Okay. It's a look, you know. Okay, let's get the gloves on. And it is time to bust out the danger honey. Okay. I was smart this time and remembered just don't even bother putting your rings on, because you know you're going to do a lot of gluing today, so. And there we are. This stuff is like chewing gum, it's so thick now. Just one more puppet, please. Just hold out for one more puppet. Alright, so I'm going to do the darts first. Again, as always, a light thin coat is the way to go. This brush is shedding bristles. That's alright. Not really an issue in this case. That's a can of barge out for a few nights ago. Freezing temperatures and a full can of... Oh! Equal pop can and gooey workstation. Oh no! I cannot imagine this scene of horror greeted you as you walk in. What's that smell? Wait, I know that smell. I would lose it because barge is so freaking expensive now. I mean, it always was, but it's just got so much worse. You clean that up, you throw away the table. All right, there's the darts for one. Trying not to have dead air. Kevin's a bit brain dead today. I mean, I guess if it's supposed to be a chill stream, not talking is also fine. I'm saving all my talking for the podcast tomorrow. This is the problem with the brush and the tinted barge, is because it rubs up against the side and the whole brush just gets gooey. Yeah, he did throw the table away. See? Told you. I know how it goes. Okay. When the weather improves, yeah. Hopefully it wasn't an expensive table. It's some kind of cheap thing in the garage. Excuse me for standing up. I need to grab some paper towels here, because I need to wrap the brush so I don't get barge all over my gloves. Sheet folding table. Good. Yeah, good plan. That's thinking ahead. There we go. I just don't want to get glue all over the place. Okay. Hello, Mr. Batman. You know, it's my second career. It's going well. Turns out crime is good these days. Try and put this in a place that I'm not going to turn off the stream. Good, good, good. And we'll close up these darts. Like so. And stick together. There we go. There's one. I am always putting the pen marks on the inside. It won't matter in this case because it's going under opaque fur, but best practices are best practices. Always blindly follow best practices. All right, there we go. 2 halves, and now we just join the 2 halves together. More gooey glue. Oh, this isn't gonna work. I am just gonna have to accept and be careful. This brush is just not recoverable. Let's try and use the one that came in the tin. That at least, because of its nature, will stay centered and not get gummed up by touching the sides. I should have just enough glue on here. The problem is the brush that comes in the tin isn't quite long enough to reach the bottom, which seems like an oversight. Or maybe it's on purpose so they can make you buy another tin before you need it. That's it. That's how they get you. It's like ice and soda. You're being manipulated by big glue. It's true. I am a tool of big glue. All right. Being as cool as Kevin, the problem is he didn't have these glasses, all right? That's all you need. All right. So let's dry these off. And now we join them together, making sure that's the top, that's the bottom, that we put the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom. So, sometimes they don't quite line up because, foam. That's all right. It will also flex because it's foam. There we go. So as you can see, it's not as refined a shape It's got a couple of sort of like the corners where the darts happen, but that's perfectly fine for what we're using it for. So the next step is to make the boning loops. For that, I'm actually going to take the mask off just for a minute. The window is open, there's plenty of ventilation. I just need to be able to talk normally for a few minutes, so 1 second. Yeah, like already, I can't smell the barge. There's plenty of ventilation in here. I'm going to leave this mic on. Hopefully this won't make a big banging noise as I hang it up. Okay, so yes, we have to make the boning loops now. And for that, we need the boning. I also want more coffee, and I don't have any. I should go get some more coffee. While we're doing this, I'm going to get some more coffee. This is probably going to be a fast stream. We're at 10:44 only. It's only been 44 minutes since the stream started, and I'm pretty close to being done this part. We do have the other thing to do as well, so I'm not going to rush. I'm going to go slow. Give me 1 second to grab some more coffee, and I shall be right back. Alright, it's actually starting to get a bit chilly in here, at least compared to outside. I do love my coffee though, which is just barely lukewarm now, so, you know. This isn't going to warm me up, but you know what will? The old man sweater. So, I'm going to grab that. Not so cool now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's a lovely sweater. It's fantastic. It's very, very utilitarian, but it's not high fashion, let's face it. Like, I'm so worried about that. Anyway, back to the puppets, huh? Back to the overhead cam here. So yeah, we need to put a ring of boning in the top and a ring of boning in the bottom, so it doesn't really matter what end you start at. I'm gonna just grab some boning here and kind of rough it approximately. These. There we go. Puppet boning made from actual human bones, yeah. No, not quite. I mean, this stuff used to literally be made out of whalebone. Thankfully, it is not anymore. This is all, it's all synthetics these days, but if I was really your goth grandpa, I'd find the real boning, you know what I'm saying? You mean comfy sweater? Yes, exactly. Okay, so to size this, I cut a little bit more than I think I'm going to need. And I gotta stand up for this, sorry. Just so I can get a good overview of it. And I put it in until it just wants to sit exactly right. And I'll just hold that in place and mark. That's where it is. So then we want to trim off all but except about a centimeter or so, or I don't know, what is that in American? Half an inch? Look, it's not imperial, it's American, okay? let's get real. The Empire stopped using that unit a long time ago. There's no sense in calling it imperial anymore. Mr. Pedantic. All right, so we're gonna use some gaff tape to just hold this together until we get some glue on it. And you want to tape this down real good just so it will stay closed indefinitely. And there we go, one ring of boning. So that was for the bottom, and you can tell it's for the bottom because it's the wider one. And it's going to be slightly narrower, so pardon me for standing up again. You can admire the comfy sweater. Let's get some more here. Guesstimate we need at least that much. This is just to be able to manipulate it a bit better to see what size we actually need rather than try and futz with it while it's on the roll. You do have a little bit of wastage, but not much. Okay, that looks good about there. Oop. Trim that up. The mask is going to be coming back out in a moment. Oh joy. There we go. So now we have two rings, one slightly smaller diameter for the top and a slightly wider diameter for the bottom. Or larger diameter, not wider. Mr. Language Pedant. Okay, so unfortunately now it's danger anytime yet again, so back with the mask. If this were a smaller size, FYI, this size is fine, this the way it is, but if this were like a more frog sized, for example, I would probably need to trim away, at least in the top, some of the, like bevel it on the inside, just to allow the performer's hand to go through easily. This will be fine, like there's plenty of room here, so. But just FYI, if you're doing a smaller size, you may have to like trim the inside a little bit. All right, gloves, then mask. I should also put a piece of paper on the table. But I'm trying not to get too much glue, even though this cutting mat really needs to be replaced, but I'm trying to keep it as tidy as I can. Spoilers, not very. Okay. Let's see, is that the right side? I don't think it's the right side. I do try and keep aware of which is the inside and which is the outside of the gloves, because it does actually matter. Some, not all, but some of these like latex gloves, there's a slippery side and a not slippery side, and you want the slippery side inside so your hand could go in and out easily, but the non-slippery side on the outside so you can hold on to things, right? Makes a degree of sense. With me, it's usually easy to tell because I got a bunch of glue all over the fingers of the bit that's on the outside, so you don't want to put that on the inside, clearly. So let me grab a piece of paper here just to put the glue on, because we're going to have to set these down on the work surface. And it's mask time. I will mute the mic. One moment. Coffee first. Order of operations is always important. I don't look right without my glasses, do I? Guy looks like a thumb. All right. I can see the mic moving. Okay, here we go. Oh, speaking of glasses, probably want that. You know, for the seeing. All right. So it doesn't really matter what end you start with. They both have to be done, so. Is this visible, more or less, on camera? We're just putting glue on the ring of boning. Fill into a plastic ring of boning. I don't know. I'm trying. Okay, there we go. Again, you don't need much. Don't overdo it. I always hold on to the tape bit until the very last. It just gives me a convenient place to know that there's no glue on there, so I can hold it. I'll do that. It's all about the gentle ballet of puppet building. Okay, there we go. We'll set those aside. And now we will coat the inside here, just the edge. We are getting through this very fast. It is going to be kind of a short stream, I suspect. Unless the next thing goes spectacularly wrong. Spoiler alert. if the camera's picking this up. There's some fluffy bits on the barge here. It's an old tin. I think this tin is probably 3 to 4 months old. I mean, I go through this stuff pretty fast, all things considered, but it does last. I guess $80 every 3 months isn't the worst thing ever. They should do a subscription plan. Don't do a subscription plan. Please. Enough. I don't think that the good folks at Barge watch this stream, although they should, and they should sponsor me. Okay. I'll take a tin of Barge every 3 months. There you go. Sponsored deal done. Okay. We're gonna hit everything with a hairdryer. I'm slouching. I got a terrible habit of slouching, and then my back hurts after I've been working for a day. Go figure. So now, once again, it doesn't really matter what end you start with, but just make sure that you've got the top on the top. I'm gonna have to stand up again for this. But this is the top. This is the narrower one. So, the narrower one. Decide where the back is. It doesn't really matter because it should be uniform. And you just to go around. It's going to want to grab on before you're ready. Just lift it off and place it before you pinch it. And then once it's in place, then you can lock it down. Like so. It's almost like I've done this before a few hundred times. That's a bit better. All right, there we are. One body insert made. I know it looks a little rough. It's fine. Trust me, it's fine. I'll show you how fine it is. Because we are going to finish Scribbles live on the internet. Sorry for putting that paper in the way of the camera. Didn't realize what I was doing until I'd done it. Story of my life. A little coffee first, because I am about to move a thing that has a bunch of fur on it around. I'm going to keep it on the overhead camera for the moment. But first of all, making sure there's no wet glue on the surface. Nope, we're good. So here's Scribbles. Scribbles, get ready for surgery. So we've got our empty body right here, and we just have to stuff this in there. So you got to be careful and gentle because you might need some force to do this, but just go slow. Remember that foam collapses. And slowly work your way up. The nice thing about doing it this way is this body insert is super light. And that is always a top concern. Making it as light as possible. Now thankfully with this, because it's more or less symmetrical, you don't really need to worry about front and back sides. You just kind of put it in, get it seated. And you can see already it's looking much better, much more fleshed out. I just want to make sure that I haven't got fur all tucked up in there. Just untuck everything in the bottom here. It might be a little squished for the moment. That will, like, as the fabric kind of relaxes and everything just kind of gets to know each other, that will all work itself out. That's there we go. So let's see what we got now. Camera's probably a little too close up. Scribbles is not small. Live hands puppets tend to be larger anyway, just to accommodate the scale of a heavy ear slop around. The blue puppet fur makes me hungry for cookies, you know. It's not quite, I have some very good, almost exactly one-to-one Cookie Monster color. This isn't really Cookie Monster. This is actually a bit closer to Grover, but here we go. Oh, it's a dog monster. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you have to make a live hands puppet proportional to the size of the hands, and even then it's still a little bit smaller. But, you know, you always make a puppet as small as you can for the scale that you need. But, yeah. Hang on. Let's go to see if I can go to the good cam here. This is probably going to not be a seamless transition. It's probably going to be yeah, okay. I don't know what the lighting here is going to look like. This is the good cam. I haven't used this camera in quite a while. Let's see. Hey, there we go. Wow, that looks great with the backlighting. Yeah, floppy ears. Yeah. I don't know what voice Scribbles is going to have, so I'm not going to attempt to give them a voice, but here we go. One Scribbles. Woof. All right. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Yes, there we go. Scribbles is done. One Scribbles. And yes, I did a carved foam tongue as well. I love doing the carved foam tongue. So there we go. Scribbles done. I am actually going to send that clip to the client so they can see Scribbles in action. So let me just grab my quote-unquote puppet stand here, i.e. piece of a cat tree. There we go. Scribbles looking good. And there we go. You can see we've got a nice fleshed out body now. And yeah. So that was a fair amount of work, this one. This, you know, usually doesn't get quite this elaborate. Just the amount of grooming I had to do on the fur here, and the trimming and the grooming was quite a lot. This is all, there was like a whole day of just fur grooming on this to make it look like this. But yeah, and these are stitched and everything. Let me tell you, stitching fur to fur on the outside is not a chore for the poor of constitution. Thank you very much, Dr. Words. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. These eyes are also custom 3D printed, and I did the whole, this is like UV resin coating to make them all glossy and everything, so yeah. There's a bit more to this than what you may guess, but I think the results speak for themselves, so there we go. So, we are way ahead of schedule. The next thing is to take the legally distinct celebrity amphibian body here and just glue in the fabric around the top and bottom just to finish it. So I'm not going to rush on that because we're making excellent time, and that's literally everything I plan to do on stream. Yeah. So, how y'all doing? I got nothing. I'm usually way busier than this, but today I just made good time. I actually have to go, I'm going to go explore an old but new to me fabric store in the city to see if they've got some supplies that I may need. No rush, chill morning. Oh yeah, it's drawing between shifts. Nice. Legally distinct celebrity amphibian is a Michigan J frog. Well, that wouldn't be legally distinct now, would it? No, it is not. I'm going to put scribbles back over here because they are done. So let's just keep them out of the way. Give me 1 sec. Actually, I got to take a quick break. I will be right back, and we will get on with the not frog. Toad from Frog and Toad. It's a salamander. I have no idea. Okay, so next thing we got to do, I will describe it before I put the mask on, just so it's clear. So all we're doing is we're taking this, which is the thing that we did the draping tutorial with last week. I have trimmed away the excess fabric on the top, and we're just going to put glue on the inside of the boning here and on the inside of the fleece, and we're going to wrap it around and glue it down just to give us a nice finished edge like that, and on the top and the bottom. So we gotta do the blue thing yet again. So let me grab more gloves. Oh joy, oh bliss, the mask is coming back. I haven't turned the mic off on the mask yet. I knew we were going back there. But after this, then I'm done. So, it might be a short stream. Alright, I will mute the microphone while I put the mask on. And there we go. Ta-ta. All right. So this can be a bit tricky. I'm going to start with the bottom actually, because that's the less important part. So I think what I'll do is I'll sort of fold it back like this. Right, so we've got a little kind of cuff here. And that way I can put the glue on the inside and then the glue around here and then fold it over. That's the plan. This is always a bit fraught, so it may not go perfect. I'm gonna just have to stand up again just to sort of see what I'm doing. Try to go light on the glue. Alright, so there it is on the inside of the foam on the boning, and now we gotta do the fabric, and this is where it gets fiddly. Because you want to be careful not to get it on the outside of the puppet. Easier said than done. Very careful on the seams here. And you're gonna go really, really light so it doesn't soak through. All right, hopefully that'll do. Gonna dry it off.
trying to keep it as wrinkle-free as possible. And then start folding that over. Alright, that's not too bad. It's okay if you've got some wrinkles on the inside, because you're never going to see those. Right? That'll happen. But there we go. Nice, clean edge. And don't worry about the kind of unevenness around here, because there's going to be a sleeve on there. This is just really for the builder to have like a clean edge to work off of. This isn't cosmetic. You're not going to see this. So, likewise on the top. So we're going to fold it back like so to expose the interior edge. And once again, standing up. This tin is very close to being done. This may be the last thing that gets done with it. Alright, now being careful not to touch the inside. I'm going to put, trying to show this on camera, but also be very, very careful to not get glue where glue shouldn't be. Okay, think that got it. The other thing you gotta be careful of is sometimes this will want to sort of fold back up. Just be aware of that as you're brushing. All right, hair dryer time. And I'm going to close up the barge. Now in this case, this is the back seam, so I'm going to start from the designated front and start from there just to make sure that if there are any wrinkles, they're not in any place that's visible. Sometimes it'll want to fold up on itself. Just sort of pull it apart and reseat it before you lock it down. Kind of like that. Okay, there we go. Not too bad. It'll do. There we go. You see, nice finished edge. That's the goal. And this just gives us something clean to stitch onto, that's all. Well, birds on Kevin's windows are killing over dead because of barge fumes, you know. Thankfully, there's no ledge out there for birds to land on. So that's good.
Yeah, the only thing that comes around these windows are insects, and frankly, considering some of the insects around here, I'm okay with them getting hit with some barge. If you heard my wasp story from last summer, that horror show, and as far as I'm concerned, it can stay away. And there we go. One legally distinct celebrity amphibian body ready for further building. So that's kind of it. That's what I had planned to do today. I'm done. I mean, at least on stream. I got more stuff to do, obviously, but these gloves are dead, so let's just get rid of those. Speaking of dead, I think it might be time to say thank you for your service to this tin of barge, because it's getting real hard to get any glue out of that without a major pain. So yeah, there we go. You know, look, it's not even the same color, so it has to be legally distinct. There's lots of different colors of that particular amphibian, FYI. Surprising degree of different colors. But yeah, there we go. So many greens. It's true. Yeah, I got nothing. Let me see. Actually, I do have stuff because there's more things. Tomorrow night, we are recording the podcast. Once again, we are, in fact, on schedule. There was a new Warframe video went up. So if you're into video games and or Warframe, there's some more stuff on the channel. OperationPuppet.com for all the links. Like and subscribe, all that YouTubey nonsense. You know, the stuff I hate to do, but I do it anyway because you gotta. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. As always, we are cutting it a little bit short, but I guess an hour and a half isn't too bad. That's fine. Yeah, you know, all the stuff. Join the Discord, etc. Always stuff happening there. And I'm thinking what else. No, I don't think I'll be streaming this weekend, although you never know. I might. So yeah. Anyway, I said I got nothing. I'm gonna go have some lunch, and then we're gonna get on with the rest of my day. So thank you very much, and we will, in all likelihood, see you next time.